times in the past, and I got to get her back on. She had somebody really high up in the government. It had all the top clearance as you could have.
Yeah.
And claimed to her that there is, actually in North Carolina, that there's an underground base where these aliens are sharing technology with our military. But there's a little motive to it. They like humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as a buddy. They like humans.
Yeah. Is that like as in consumption, or is that in
what she said is what the guy said, you wouldn't want to meet one, because if you met one, that you would not be living very long.
Really?
Now, in other words, they're cannibals.
Right.
But you look at it. But look at it. If somebody's technology is far superior than us, okay? I say this all the time, and people go, not again. But look, we eat everything on this planet, including, Aunt Bertha. So, I mean, okay, I mean, if you take a civilization that's so far advanced than us, they might not look at us any more than that McDonald's cheeseburger.
Well, and it's like you were talking about with your dogs earlier. I mean, we might just be pets to them. They're evolved enough from us that they might come here and look at us with a lesser technology and look at us just like, the humans are pets. And maybe they eat some of those pets. Maybe they keep some of those pets as pets. Who knows? But, it's like that old song, they make great pets,
I can say this. When I was in Vietnam, okay, I went into this restaurant, and there was this real cute poodle. And then it didn't take me long to realize why that cute poodle was in that cage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not seen anything like that, but I know they will eat dogs in Asia in some places.
Yeah, and that is bad. But of course, what remember, James, when we were talking about they weren't hamsters. What's the next thing? Guinea pigs.
Gerbils. They were gerbils.
No, they were guinea pigs. They were guinea pigs.
Was he?
Yeah, a guy went into this restaurant, and there was a whole bunch of guinea pigs running around on the floor and everywhere. And he asked the waiter, why are all these guinea pigs running around? He goes, oh, people pick out the guinea pig they want for dinner. Delicacy.
Venezuela.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you go into a seafood restaurant and you got the tank of lobsters, Yeah.
Well, we came to a conclusion, though, Ron, that Star Trek was far-fetched. The transporter, right?
Yes.
They never scanned anybody for bacteria, bugs, or crabs. Now, could you imagine?
They did say there was a biofilter on it.
Yeah, okay, but now they're on the planet, right? And they beam them back up. They don't have a biofilter on it down there, so they bring them and transport them back onto the platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now the guy is half human and half crab.
It would be fascinating. We could have the scenario like we have on The Fly, but with a transporter.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about the other night on the show.
Yeah. I like that. They did an episode of Voyager that was like that, where the character of Neelix and Tuvok came back, and they had been fused together into one person. And it looked a little bit like each of them. It was another actor playing the role, but he was really good, and he played it like the both of them, and because he was then a Vulcan and a Talaxian all fused together into one being, and it was kind of like that. Not as horrific because he wasn't mixed with something non-human, but it's that same thought that what if in that coming back up to the ship on the platform, that through the transporter, you had exactly what happened in the movie The Fly.
Yeah. I mean, growing wings or growing, and like James said the other day, dust mites. Turning into a giant dust mite. I don't know. By the way, tomorrow we have Mark Cushman. That's who our guest is tomorrow. He wrote the book about The Voyage Continues. He got a hold of, before Gene Roddenberry passed on, Gene Roddenberry gave him all the notes that for creating the original Star Trek that he had and the network had, and why the show was never canceled, why it ended up being terminated. And he's going to be on along with one of his actors that did a series on the internet about The Voyage Continues. Vic Morrow or Vic something will be on with him tomorrow. So that's going to be really interesting tomorrow. Just throw that in.
That's going to be very fascinating. It's also David Bowie's birthday tomorrow.
Oh yeah. And hey,
another, thinking of stars, the Starman, it's like his birthday. So and
somebody else we know too.
Stuff there.
Oh yeah, my birthday is tomorrow too.
I thought yours was today.
No, I don't know why it was posting. It's tomorrow, January 8th. I was born in 1952, the year they invented the wagon wheel.
Very cool. Well, happy birthday.
I don't know. It's so close to Christmas, nobody buys me anything.
Really?
Yeah.
My mom's birthday was Sunday, and we take her out and show her a good time and get her, gifties and some flowers and dinner and stuff like that. So they should take you out and get you some gifties and a new Cuban cigar and some fun and keep you away from the aliens that want to cook you.
Oh, see, I can't smoke anymore in my studio because my wife put her foot down. It was so bad. James, I think, seen one of the videos.
Lord!
Here I am in a 12 by 15 foot studio. Okay, and I think I sent you a video of what it looks like. I don't know if you looked at it.
You did.
But
again, I loved it because I saw myself like the picture I sent you was on the wall, and I liked that. And I saw you pan through and you can see all the computer screens, all the different computers you have in there, and the alien in there and everything. So I thought it was really great. One of these days, I'm going to have to make it out there and do an interview with you in studio because that looks like great fun.
Well, actually,
I would imagine
it's
a 20 smoke really quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a 20 by 15. Sorry, but you know what? It was so bad. I'd be smoking a cigar in here. And I can't run air conditioner or anything because it makes noise. And it would be so bad that I couldn't even see the door to get out by the end of the show because I would smoke 2 cigars. And I tell you, it looked like I was in London fog.
Yeah.
1880s.
I would think that would fill up really quickly, especially if you have no ventilation going. Then, you're just going to sit there in literally the smoke-filled room.
Oh, yeah. Then I'd open the door, and then my wife would gag because the smell, my cheap cigars would, reek through the whole house for weeks at a time. But then not that. I found out if you're in a confined room smoking a cigar, you can get high as a kite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. I'm sure people will be trying all kinds of that because I'm in Chicago, and so here in Illinois, they at the beginning of the year here, they just legalized marijuana in the state, and I'm sure there's somebody with a device going in a small room right now feeling that would smoke and having a good time.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I think they're going to pass it legally all across the country. I mean, it's they should because it's no worse than alcohol, and actually it's safer than alcohol.
Yes. Well, you ask any cop whether they would rather pull somebody over that's been drinking or been smoking, and they'd much rather deal with the pot smoker because they're happy, they're mellow. You're not going to get some belligerent drunk that can't even walk straight. So it's yeah.
And if you're a cop, and you pull some over that's been smoking pot, you don't have to give them, right off the bat because you can smell like 30 feet away.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah,
I was
like
the thing
it.
now. They want to see. They don't have a scanning device or anything to see how much is in their bloodstream or anything like that. Like you have a breathalyzer for drinking, but they don't have the equivalent for the pot yet. So, and I thought that was kind of interesting to note that. It's like, I guess other than the field sobriety test, I mean, if you can pass that, then you're good to go.
Unless you're in that one parish where the sheriff's department pulled over a donkey and gave him a sobriety test. I don't know if you heard about that one, Ron, but that was back about a month ago. Yeah, a sheriff deputy saw a donkey walking on the side of the road and staggering. So he pulls over and he gives a sobriety test. I don't know how you do it, but he tried giving a sobriety test to a donkey. And one of his other officers in the parish came up and they were looking at the cop, not at the donkey. They said, "What are you doing?" "I think this donkey is intoxicated." I wonder who was intoxicated.
Wow. Yeah. Exactly. Did they then give the officer a field sobriety test?
I don't know. There was
my next move.
There was a blurb on NBC and a few other news medias about it. Then nothing. You know, could you see the embarrassment of a sheriff's department? One of the officers pulled over a jackass and gave a sobriety test. No, not a guy who was a jackass, a donkey. Oh, yeah. I like to get pulled over for that.
I had not heard that.
Well, now
you're like, what is that? What is he thinking?
I don't know. Now, let's tell people about you. You're an actor in horror, Gothic movies.
Yes. Yeah, an actor in a lot of dark genre, especially horror movies and everything. And what led me there was, my Gothic illusion show. I've done magic since I was a kid. And when and this is something that nobody would ever figure. If you look at my photos now, it's, I got a look. My head's shaved, my eyes don't match. I wear eyeliner, lots of black. It's an intense look. And it was like, so when I started, when I was very young, I was doing very traditional stuff. The guys I started with who taught me did very traditional stuff, and I was just doing what I had learned from them in the beginning, which is birds and bunnies and, very traditional kind of magic and illusion show. And then as I developed the show later, that got less and less interesting to me. And then one of my friends actually said to me that I was much more interesting off stage than on. And that set off a light for me that I need to make the show my own. And I always loved horror movies and comic books and, the strange and unusual, just like all the awesome stuff that you talk about here on your show. So I infused the show and built the show around that then. And then I built this look and persona for that new show, which is what I now call famously Dark Sticky Fun. And that's kind of my brand. And then that got me invited into horror movies because then people I knew liked my look and my persona and said, "I'm making a horror film. Would you like to be in it?" And since I had studied in college, I studied theater and communications and television and things, but I studied acting and everything there, never intending to use acting on it, just for its own merits, just as an actor. I had studied theater and acting to make my stage show, the illusion show, better and more fun and creepier, and to learn the acting and the stagecraft and everything I needed for that. And so I had that training to fall back on. So when and then I know, like I said, the horror movies were one of the inspirations for the show in the first place. So when I actually got to go be in horror movies, I was thrilled out of my mind that, one of the very first films I made was something, and this is 20 years ago now. This is 1999, a movie called The Item, and it went to Sundance. So I was made two movies at the same time, and one of them didn't get finished at all. It was a movie called Vermis, and it kind of crashed and burned as it started to hit post-production, and it had lots of trouble and financial troubles and things, and that's the world of indie film. But then the other one, and that movie was done by my friend John Lachago, who's a writer-director, and I went on to make several other movies, Blood Gnome and Magus and Bioslime with John, and the other movie called The Item that went to Sundance was actually written and directed and also starred Dan Clark. And Dan and I used to work in cable television here in Chicago, and then he had gone out to L.A. to work on other things. In the beginning, it was film, and now actually, ironically, he works in television and children's television. At this point,